Hey, it's Rebecca here, and I can't wait to show you what's inside the July 2025 Beetle Box from Queen Ladybug. This month we've got 12 stunning glitters, a mix of chunky trees and fine sparkles that are perfect for holiday in July designs or Christmas in July designs. I'll be using them to create some super sweet gingerbread and candy themed nail art that's festive, fun, and full of shimmer. Let's get into all the sparkle and see how you can use these glitters in your own designs. Let's go over what we got in the box. The first glitter is called Silver Bells, and this is a silver sparkly glitter. The next one is called Silver Trees, and that's a holographic tree. This next one is called Sprinkle of Green, and it's pretty sheer. And this one is White Hollow Trees. Then Blue Ribbon, Indigo Trees. They all have a really good shimmer. And let's see, this one is Gold Star. And then with that is Gold Trees with the holographic. And next up is Holly, which is a green, and Green Trees. And another coordinating couple, which is Pink Poinsettia and Red Trees. And those are the 12 glitters that came in this month's Beetle Box. You also should have received a brush. It could be the baby fan or a smudge brush. First, I'm going to show you how I swatch my glitters. So I get the same size full cover tip or swatch nail, and I turn it upside down. This way I'm going to save on top coat. I'm coating the underneath. And I'm going to use metallic glaze for this because it's completely clear. You can use a clear rubber base, you could use press-on gel, whatever works for you. I'm using the metallic glaze because I know it's not going to yellow and it's going to show the true color of the glitter. So I'm just going to put the gel in the bottom, a nice liberal layer, because I'm going to be sprinkling just the small glitters first, and then we'll move on to the trees. But just coat all of your tips that you're going to use, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, I've got the 6 colors of the smaller glitters, and I am just finishing up my 6th nail tip that I'm putting the gel on. You want to move those out of the way so you don't get stray glitter in there. And I'm just going to open up the jar, get a scoop that is just a tip, and I'm going to coat the inside of the nail that's wet. I have not cured that metallic glaze yet. I'm just coating the inside with the wet gel with the glitter. And once that's coated, I can cure. I'm going to go ahead and do this step with every single one of these glitters. I'll come back to the last one and we will go to the next step. Okay, now that those are all coated and cured, I'm going to take some Ladybug Luster Wet Look Top Gel. This is an almost empty bottle that I'm using for this, and I am just going to pour a few drops in there. Let me get all the tips on here so I can get it done at once. I'm going to line these up, and then I'm going to take my bottle and I'm just going to pour out a couple of drops in each one. You don't want it to overflow or be too much, so just a couple of drops in there. And using the end of your bottle, this is a good way to get use out of it, especially if there's any little glitter bits or anything in it, because you don't want to use a brand new bottle and get glitter in it. So I'm going to spread out those bits of gel just to coat the bottom. And because this is upside down, we don't have to worry about it being perfectly smooth or perfectly fine because nobody's really going to look at the back. It's going to be on a tip bar. So once those are done, I am going to cure. And here you can see the nice smooth top because we didn't have to add a top coat. We didn't have to file this down. You're going to get the complete brilliance of the glitter and all the different reflections and shades that are in each one, and you can see just how pretty they all really are and how you can use these with different colors that you already have, or with the tree glitters. You can see that they all match and coordinate, and I think that sprinkle of green might be my favorite one. But here is the gold star, and last is silver bells, and that's really pretty. So once those are done, you can put them on a tip bar. I'm going to move on to the Christmas trees. Okay, I've got the same 6 tips that I'm using, and I am going to use the metallic glaze again. I'm going to coat the inside of the tips, and basically it's the same step doing the trees as it is the smaller glitter, but you may want to move some of the glitter around with tweezers or a brush to make sure that the whole inside is covered, because these pieces are a tiny bit bigger. And I am adding a little bit thicker gel because I want to have some depth in there. They don't have to be perfectly placed. If you want to perfectly place them all, you can, but this is just so I can show the color and size and everything on these glitters. Okay, once these are all coated, again, I'm going to set those aside. I'm going to get one jar open, and I'm just going to pour them in as I did before, and move them around a little bit so I know I have good coverage. And again, you can use tweezers or a single brush and place them where you want them. It's not that important to me. I just want to show the glitter, so I'm not going to go ahead and do that. But you can do it, especially if you're very particular about how your glitter looks on the nail. And once I get it all pushed in place, I'm going to go ahead and cure, and then I'll come back in and top coat the back again. It doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to put it on a nail bar. Okay, and I have just placed these on a double bar, and they're not in the same order I did them, but I did the silvers, the blues, the whites, the reds, the green, and the gold. All really nice Christmas colors, vintage looking, a little bit pastel. You could use these in many different ways to mix up your holiday nail art, and the trees are so small they'll go on really any size nail. That's what I love about them. So let's move on to the actual design part. I've got my 5 tips ready. I have used Team Ladybug No Buff Press on Nail Primer and Queen Ladybug Red Carpet Rapid Ready Press On Gel, which is HEMA-FREE. I've put that on all of these nails and cured it, so go ahead and get your nails ready for the art. Now I am using number 60, which is Pepp-O-Mint, and I am also using number 27, Angel Food Cake. I'm going to put some of this on my palette because I want to show you a couple ways and how you can improve one of your techniques. So I am then going to put the Pepp-O-Mint on as well, a little bit on the palette there. So if your nail is just nothing on it, just your base coat, you can get a 20mm brush and go ahead and swipe into the white and paint your stripes this way. I'm doing an angled diagonal stripe on the nail. And you can go ahead and do your stripes all like this. Do the white first and then the red, or do the red first and then the white. And that's going to take quite a bit of time. I'm drawing out my lines here, and I think that's just going to take too much time to do the white and the red. So I'm going to go ahead and just grab the brush and coat the entire nail in the Angel Food Cake, which is just a white gel polish. And I'll put a nice thin coat on here and come back in and do a second coat if I think it needs it. Okay, so I've cured the white gel. I have not wiped it or anything, and now I'm coming in with my 20mm brush, and I'm just going to do some red stripes. Let's just go down here and see how it goes. A little bit. It's skipping a little. It's not easy to use. I know we have stripers. I just did not have any available, so I'm using the polish with the striper brush, but it's not going on very easily. It's really not gripping the gel polish color. So I'm going to wipe the brush off, and then I'm going to wipe the nail off as well. I'm going to go ahead and grab Team Ladybug Velvet Touch Matte Top Gel, and I am going to coat my whole nail with the matte. Then I'll cure for 60 seconds and be right back. Okay, before I add the stripes, I'm going to get the white hollow trees and the red trees. Let's see. And I'm going to wipe off the inhibition layer from the matte, and I'm going to get my 20mm Queen Ladybug brush, and it's a big difference. So here the matte is actually gripping the gel polish, so I have much more control over what I'm doing on the matte surface with the gel polish. And even though it may bleed a tiny bit, it's not going to bleed like it would if you were just doing it over the regular polish. So I'm just going to finish my stripes and paint them in. Long strokes here. Get the edges, and it doesn't have to be perfect. I want them a little bit thicker, well, wide enough for the trees, so I may have to go back and adjust that middle one. But let me just finish this. My little candy stripe. And get the edges. Okay. Make that a little bit thicker. And I think I am going to make the center one as well, just a tad thicker. So go ahead and adjust these however you need to. Looks good, so I am going to just touch up one more spot, and then I will fully cure for another 60 seconds. Okay, now that that's cured, we're going to have to adhere these trees with something. So I'm going to grab foil gel. I'm putting a nice thin layer of the foil gel on the nails. I don't want it to be so thick that it just makes the glitter run all over the place. I'm using my 9mm brush, and I'm going to pick up these individually. So I want to put my trees in the same color stripes that are going down. So they're Christmas tree candy cane stripes. And again, these little trees are perfect for nail art, especially your Christmas nail art, and whatever size you want them to go in or whatever designs you want them to go in. They fit perfectly. They're just really fun to work with. So I'm just doing stripes here. You could actually form these little trees into a snowflake pattern or do something really fun with them. I will use them as another item on one of the next nails. And now I'm taking the white trees and I'm just placing them down the white stripes and continue doing this until the whole nail is covered, you know, with the corresponding color in the corresponding stripe. Again, you don't have to use red. You could use any of the colors and do striped nails for any of them. I just wanted to go with the traditional red and white candy cane stripes. Once the trees are all the way I want, and sometimes they get a little tricky, so you may have to push one off and do it again. And then I can fully cure once I'm happy with how the trees are all lined up on the nail, and just get it set right here because there will be a little slippage. If you wanted no slippage at all, you would cure the foil gel completely and then you could adhere your trees to that because it'll be super sticky and you won't have to worry about it sliding. But I also want them to be covered. I want them to be flat. I don't want anything sticking up. Okay, I've got a couple of nails that I've already done the base coat on from the previous, and I am coating with number 27 White Angel Food Cake, and then I will fully cure the both of these. Okay, I also have color number 142, which is Melon-Choly. It's a nice brown, like a tan camel sort of color. I'm just going to coat one whole nail with this, and then I'm going to take and do a stripe at the bottom, covering the whole bottom of one of the nails. And I will grab my 9mm brush and pull up the corners to make this a long French. Sorry, it looks like I got a little bit out of focus here and down away from the camera. So sorry about that. But I think most of us know how to do French corners, like pulling up. I'm really doing a wide French because I don't want most of the nail covered up since we're doing a drip. If you don't want the white background on this, you can do like a nice pink or a peach, or even leave it nude underneath. Completely up to you, especially if you're doing full cover tips or if you're just doing this on one of your clients. Get your French right. Again, does not have to be perfect because we're going to be adding some drips. From the Queen Ladybug Eye Candy collection, I will get Jolly Camper, which is color number 52, and I'm going to just put a little bit of that on my palette. I'm going to coat a white nail with Velvet Touch Matte Top Gel, and I will fully cure that for 60 seconds. Now I'm going to come back to that French, and I'm also going to coat it with the Velvet Touch Matte Top Gel and cure it. Now that I have a nice grippy base with the Velvet Touch Matte Top Gel, I'm going to take my 9mm brush and I am going to draw a swirl from the center of the nail all the way around in circle form. So I'm going to make a C, a nice C with the pattern there, and just pull it around and make a big curly Q, C, or an E, if you will, and pull that around. It's eventually going to come off the nail, but I'm making a dizzying stripe or dizzying circle. And it's not too difficult to do this. Depending on the size of the nail, your stripe can be bigger or smaller. I want there to be a little bit more white than green. So I am just going to fill in. And this is a part where you can fix anything you think you don't like about it. Make your stripe. Doesn't have to be even, doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, this is going to be looking like candy anyway, and there's no perfect candy. Well, maybe there is, but we're not making a perfect candy. This is hand painted art. So keep filling in your Jolly Camper all the way around. Once you're happy with the color you have and your stripes and your size, then you can go ahead and fully cure for 60 seconds. Sorry about this, but it seems I went a little bit off camera here and you can't see me painting the stripes completely, but I think you get the idea, and I will pop back up in a second to show you. Okay, there, I'm back on camera now. Hopefully it stays that way, but nope, we had a little slip there. You can see you're just going to go around until your circle of wintergreen swirl is done. Then you can come back in, use a 00 or a petal brush to clean up. I think an oval number 6 would be a little bit too big. Just clean up your edges and cure. Okay, now we've got the Queen Ladybug Crystal Embossing Gel and a 00 brush. I don't recommend just taking this out of the jar and putting it on the nail. I think you need to do what I'm doing here and put a little bit on a palette for you to use. Looks like I had some green gel in there, so I'm gonna take that out. But go ahead and get your crystal embossing gel and put it on your palette. Now, what I didn't show is that I had matte top coated this. I don't know where that footage went. I thought I was recording and I wasn't. So just go ahead, cover your whole nail with matte top coat, and then you can come back in with your crystal embossing gel and paint only on the white areas. I'm just going to come in a nice thin layer. You don't want it too thick. We're going to be sugaring this, and because the crystal embossing gel has a tack-free finish, it's the perfect medium to sugar these glitters with. So I'm just going to go around here and paint only on the white. Clean up if you need to. I'm going to try to do it so I don't have to clean up, but go all the way around. Do not cure this. Go all the way around with your crystal embossing gel, and then we can move on to the next step. Okay, I am using a sprinkle of green glitter for this. I'm going to take my little scooper and just pour it over the top of the not cured crystal embossing gel. I put it on thin enough that I don't need to smush it down, but if yours is a little thicker, you may need to just pat it down. Now I'm going to cure. Okay, when you come back, you should be able to take a nail brush and just wipe off all of the excess glitter, and you'll just be left with your swirl of candy nail. Wintergreen swirl candy nail. I am just going to make sure I get all the glitter off, and then that nail is done. Go ahead and get the nail that you did Melon-Choly on and grab your Team Ladybug Velvet Touch Matte Top Gel and fully coat your whole nail with that, and you can cure. Now I'm going to get the nail that I did the French on, and I had already matte top coated the background of this, so now we're just going to do the part that the Melon-Choly is on, and we're going to make it be gingerbread. So gingerbread and all cookies basically have texture. I want to take my baby fan brush and move around the matte top gel a little. It's still covering the whole thing, but we're going to make it not lumpy, but just textured. And you can do this a multitude of ways, but the easiest way I found is with the baby fan brush and just moving it around a little bit. You can see what I'm doing here. And I'm just going to make it textured. Once I'm happy with the texture, I can go ahead and cure for 60 seconds. For the frosting, we're going to need white whipped cream gel. I am going to put a little bit of that on my palette. You're going to need a sponge. I have just ripped off the tip of this sponge so there's a little texture. And I am going to take number 141, which is It's Crunch Time from the Queen Ladybug Eye Candy Gel Polish collection. Put some of that on my palette. Now I'll take and dab my sponge into the gel polish just to create a little bit of texture and color variance on my gingerbread. So go ahead and just dab it on here and there. Doesn't have to be perfect. You just want a little bit of color difference. And I may need some more here, but I think this is pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and cure that. All right, now I have the full cover nail, and I haven't added the texture yet, so I'm adding another layer of the Velvet Touch Matte Top Gel, and I'm going to go ahead and get my baby fan brush again, and I'm going to give it texture just like I did to the shorter nail. Once you're happy with the texture, you can go ahead and cure for 60 seconds. I just want to note, you should clean your baby fan brush off. Don't leave that matte top gel in there. I'm just using a little bit of alcohol on my wipe. Okay, I need a little bit more of It's Crunch Time, and I'm going to put that on my palette. Little dab will do ya. And then I will also add color number 144, which is Brownie Points, for a little bit more darkness. I don't think the lighter brown shows up as much, so just a little bit. And play around with these colors. You know, you can always mix a little bit of black in there. Whatever looks good on you or your client's nails. Go ahead and make your gingerbread, you know, darker in some spots and lighter in the others. I'm just going to adjust the color on both of these nails until I'm happy with it. And you should do the same with your gingerbread. Don't just make it one color. That's kind of boring. If you get a little bit of color over the top in the white part, just take a cleanup brush. Here I've got a petal brush, and I am getting rid of the excess brown in the white area. And you can put these nails in to cure. Once again, I'm going to use foil gel in an unconventional way, and I'm going to completely coat a white nail with it. A very, very thin layer, almost dry brushing it on. You still want to cover the whole thing, so I'm not really dry brushing, but I'm putting it on as thin as humanly possible. Now I can come in and individually place my trees. I have glitter everywhere. I've knocked into these a few times during this filming. So just put your trees where you want, upside down, right side up, however you want them. And you're going to make like sprinkles, but not sprinkles. So it's going to be Christmas tree, sprinkle, nails, sort of to go with the frosting that we will eventually put on the gingerbread man. I am just going to fill in here with a bunch of different color trees. Happy with the results, you can go ahead and fully cure the foil gel and the glitter in it. Now I have foil gel on here that is fully cured, so I feel comfortable in just placing a few of the sprinkles that are gold star on the nail, and it doesn't have to be all over, just here and there, little sprinkles. My glitter's laid pretty flat, so I'm just going to come in with Team Ladybug Velvet Touch Matte Top Gel, put a coat over this, and make a matte glitter frosting nail. Okay, on to the gingerbread man. I am going to create the bottom of the head and shoulder, bottom of the head and shoulder, so 2 little indents, and then I'm going to go all the way around the top side of the nail, the base of the nail, and I'm just going to make my little frosting with the white whipped cream gel. It doesn't have to be perfect, it doesn't have to be all the same size. I know when you're piping it can be perfect and you can make it all the same size, but these are homemade cookies and hand painted nails. So a little bit of line difference isn't going to matter. If you are a perfectionist, go ahead and go over it and make it perfect for you. But there is the head of our gingerbread man. I don't think our nail is wide enough here to do anything else with the body. So I'm just going to do some buttons. 1, 2, probably 3 buttons. Got a little bit of frosting outside of where it was supposed to go. You can use a dotting tool for this if you're not comfortable doing a circle. Just gonna get the last button on there, and I'm gonna come in with a cleanup brush and get that one little bit of frosting that sped off. Okay, I've still got the crystal embossing gel on my palette, and I'm gonna take my 9mm brush and just make a little X right under his chin. And then I'm going to take 2 Christmas trees. I'm going to use the red ones. You could use whatever color you want. And I'm going to make a little Christmas tree bow tie for my gingerbread man. And put them in there. Make sure that they're embedded. And that looks good. Then I am going to go in with my French nail, and I'm doing my icing drips. So I'm just going to line around the edge of the French with my whipped cream gel, using a 9mm brush here just to go around the edge, pull it down, and then I'm going to turn the nail upside down and work with the brush, make a squiggle dot, and pull back. So again, squiggle dot and pull up, and I'm going to thicken that up a little bit. And widen it down at the bottom. Obviously, depending on your nail length or how much of a drip or how many drips you want to have, you'll have to adjust this. But I think I'm going to make this drip come from the top a little bit longer. I was going to have it hang down, but changed my mind. So I'm going to build up the drop coming down and fill in the holes of my icing, and then I'm going to pull it down through. Connect the two pieces together so there's a big giant frosting drip. Make the line smooth, and that looks good. And then I think I'll fix this a little bit to adjust and make it blend with the top of the frosting, and then one more little drip over here, like a little drip, blending it in. Pull that up, and I think that's good. I don't think I'm going to do any more drips besides that. Now I'm going to take some of the Gold Star glitter and put it in my icing, just like the full cover nail. Just here and there. And a little bit up top. But in my big drip, I'm going to wipe off my brush and get a Christmas tree and put it right in there. Just the gold one, because my gold glitter. And that way it'll match the big nail. And the whipped cream gel will hold it in place so I don't have to top coat over that or anything. Just add a little bit more sprinkles, and I think that looks good. Now I also need some black whipped cream gel, because I tried to do white eyes and I really did not like them. It's up to you. You may like the white eyes. Your nail might be smaller than this, so you may want white eyes, but I am doing black eyes. First, I'm going to do the smile. I'm going to do 2 dots and then use my 9mm brush and pull in from the corners to the center a half arc. So half arc down and a half arc down, and then I'll connect the two in the center. This way my smile is pretty even. And there's his little gingerbread smile. Not perfect, but it looks good. Again, this is icing. Like, we're icing our little gingerbread man. Let me get the dotting tool, and I will move on to the eyes. So, needed to place the mouth first to see where I wanted to put the eyes. So I'm just going to draw some ovals, not circles. I mean, you could do circles, but I think I like the ovals better. So not quite circles, a little bit taller. and then I can fully cure that. Now I'll come back in and add the little white dots of his eyes and fully cure that. Add the center dot of the bow tie, and then cure, and that nail's done. So here's what we did. We used all of the glitter and made our glitter swatch tips, and then we made a full set of candy, Christmas in July, gingerbread, holiday nails. Using our little Christmas trees, I use them in a couple different ways. The nails are pretty flat. You know, there's a little bit of texture on 3 of them, but it's up to you how you want to work. If you want to cover that up and make the whole nail flat, if your client likes them flat, go ahead. I hope you enjoyed this month's Beetle Box, and I hope you loved the nail art designs that we used. See you next month.